Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Duncan Allen. This is No More Water. Fire. Next time. I can't say, I can say I told you so. But the way people feel about us, first of all, let me say, it was an eventful weekend. There was over 1 million people out protesting against the Trump regime, and probably just a handful at his rally, with him playing with his toy soldiers. When I said, I told you so, now I covered a parade. Let me don't call it a parade. I covered a protest. See, my stream quality is bad. I hope you all can see me. Um, but there was a many black people there, which I was happy to see. Now, remember I told you it wasn't our fight, and the people are not really um in our corner, but they want us in theirs. Let me show you something. Latinos spitting in the face of black cops, calling them the N-word. And I tell you why I put that up. It's because I told you I lived around them in Los Angeles. They hate us. I lived around Puerto Ricans in Chicago. They're much better because they are U.S. citizens. The Cubans hate black people. They won't even let the black Cubans up out of there. Cuba's mostly black. But look, they they spit in the face of the black cops calling the N-word and and you see what that caption said, and when blacks are debating, if it's our fight, we're not debating anything. We've already made up our minds. You don't see us out there. And we don't need to because they want us, but they just don't know how to get us. You know the things that they did everything to try to draw us out. Counseling, affirmative action, DEI, everything has to do with black people. They're trying to cancel it, trying to draw us out, trying to get under our skin, and we just like, oh, well, so what? Because you know why? Most of the things that they canceled, we weren't benefiting that much from anyway. They thought that we were, because a black face was put on it. They thought that we were benefiting. Anything that has to do with money and finances in this nation, we benefit very little from, no matter what type of face they put on it. It's for them. We weren't benefiting from affirmative action or DEI. They were. They're firing their own daughters and wives and mothers from jobs. And I say they, I'm talking about the regime crowd, the MAGA regime crowd. And some of them are being fired and don't care because they say they love Trump. Who loves the president? I voted for Obama. I voted for Clinton. I voted for Biden. I voted for Harris. I didn't love them. I didn't love Obama. They ran here talking about they love Trump. That's cult-like. Come don't loving a president. I respect him as president, and I vote for him because I feel that they were the best person for the job. It had nothing to do with love. Oh, and I'm going to make this announcement. There are many churches taking up donations for the tornado victims in St. Louis because FEMA's finally coming in with something, but we don't know which way they're going to go. Day by day with this government, you don't know how they're going to go. And I'm not going to mention any church one that I put up on YouTube. I put it on their page because with my type of program, I don't know if a church would want me to mention them or not. because they probably, you know, a lot of things I say, a lot of people don't agree with, and I just don't want it put on their names mentioned on this platform. But support them if you can. Drop, toiletries and clothes and even canned goods off, water if you can. But getting back to the subject, I didn't really have a certain title tonight, but you know what I talk about, us. And that's what I'm going to always talk about because other people talk about theirs. Why can't we talk about ours? Now, we haven't caught the brunt of this yet. Right now, the Hispanic is catching it. Right now, I guess you can call them the new N words for now. But that don't mean they're not going to come after us. But as for now, they're not. Because we are citizens, they don't know what to do with us. That's why we feel that it's best we stay put because they're itching for us to get out. But see, the bigotry is so strong until that they didn't realize that black people, I said this before, now there's a net flying around here. And I'm going to say it again because I like to reiterate what I say. Black people actually stopped protesting after Michael Brown, after Ferguson, in numbers. Most of Black Lives Matter's protests weren't black people. That's why they were getting a bit violent. Black bit violent because black people don't do violent protests. I do, but black people's strategy is not violent protest. But but look, most of the it was I told you the protests I did. I do media. It's mostly white folks with Black Lives Matter, and we appreciate them. We appreciate them. See, that's why they started the woke program. It's not for us, it's for them. Many white people had to start learning and saw how things really were. And they came on our side and really just about took up the fight for us. In the city of St. Louis, if you drive down Kings Highway or Grand, go from the white side to the black side to the white side of town, and the black side of town you would see a few Black Lives Matter signs. When you get on the white side of town, that was the Black Lives Matter sign in just about every yard. We appreciate them for that because one thing about black people. Yeah, I talk about white people. I talk about everybody. I even talk about us. But look, but we don't need to talk about us because we're not the problem. Even though some of us may do some things, we're still not the problem because that's taking the blame off the people who really are the problem. But look, they helped us out, but in the end, it's gonna fall on us. And they should help us out. That people cause the problem. And many people see, black people say that you're racist for something I say. And it can be biased, but how can I be racist? I'm not controlling anything. But the thing is, we are we know how to love ourselves, speak up for ourselves without hating anyone else. That's why any event we have, people of all races can come to it. When you go to a white event, they're walking around with assault rifles, passing out hate literature. No one can go there but white people. We don't have to put someone else down to build ourselves up. When we say black power, we're doing that to empower our people, some people who need empowering. You already got white power. But look, we have and they tell me, I see you with white people sometimes. Why shouldn't I be? A good share of my friends are white, and they know how I am, and many of them think like I think. But still, even though they may think like we think, the burden fall on us because if push come to shove, people side with their own. I mean, when it comes to a matter of life and death, people side with their own. We have some allies, but our allies are still not us. And we have to remember that. We appreciate anyone's help. Anyone want to help us, good. We really greatly appreciate it. But we realize that our allies, uh-oh, I hit the wrong thing. I was looking down and hit the screen. We have to realize, how long was that up? We have to realize that our allies are not us. And they can go the other way, you know. I'm not saying that they will, but we can't put out our hope and trust in someone else to do our job. Right now, our job is to stay out the way. And it's awful. I was going to put this thing up with this Latino guy. He's just about cursing, saying, my black people not helping. He can curse all he want to. Then what we were doing the civil rights movement. Can I tell you why I say what I do about the people that's helping us? You know what? When it comes to things like police brutality and someone being mistreated, anyone can join in on that because that could happen to them and theirs and may have happened to them. But see, the reason I look at the civil rights movement to measure our help from others is because during the civil rights movement, we were almost fighting for our existence. We were fighting for our people, not a cause like police brutality. We were fighting for our people and our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our right to have rights, just as anyone else, it's just as everyone else did. Latinos and everyone else didn't have to fight for that because, as I told you before, and I'll say it again, when Emmett Till was being killed for whistling at a white woman, when a black man couldn't be seen even talking to a white woman, even though they could talk to our women all they wanted to. But when a black man couldn't be seen talking to a white woman, you had Lucy and Ricky Ricardo on I Love Lucy, and they were actually married in real life. Black white women making songs about their Latin love. I want me a Latin lover. What do you think would have happened if she said, I want me a, at that time we were called Negroes or colored. I want me a Negro lover. They probably found her in the dumpster somewhere. So that's why I say, we even though we have some allies, we just can't put our hopes and trust on them. We have to do our jobs ourselves with their help, but the end falls on us. But like I say, when we were fighting for our very existence, those people weren't there. You had some Jews. The Catholic Church would send some priests out, but excuse me. But we have to do for ourselves because you don't know when others may go the other way, change their minds. I'm not saying they will, but you don't know. Cause see, during segregation, there wasn't many Latinos business in black neighborhoods. But out west, where there was some, the Latino business was segregated also. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. But then it wasn't all white business segregated. Some just didn't do it. I'm about to get this. Why this room keep giving me the cough? I thought it was over with. Told you how they had everything done in here. Oh well, I'm gonna have to use another space next time if it's not cleared up. But look, but everyone has and as you know, people of color, they come over here, they're arrogant with us. They're arrogant with us. They come over here and it's like when immigrants came over here, it's like one part they want to emulate white people. Not the good white people, but the racist white people. Even the Africans. When they come over here, they don't have anything to do with us. Many of those from Central America, from Belize. I was around many of them in L.A. and they were black as you and me. You know, you have black people all over the world. You have black Brazilians, black Argentinians, all over the world. But when they come here, they don't identify with us. They identify with their ethnicity, their nationality. We think because they're black, they're gonna identify with us because see, all we know is race. They know ethnicity and nationality because they know what country, nation, and ethnic group they came from. We don't. We just know that continent that our people came from, which is that's close enough. And and see so we don't, and that's why I say many of us would like to go to Africa. I've been considering it, but one thing that's on our minds is the way you come over here and act with us. We don't know because we don't want to go over there and get mistreated. That's too far to swim. And we don't want to have to hitch a ride on another boat coming back like our other folks hitch. Well, they didn't hitch a ride, but was forced. But you get my meaning. We don't want to go over there and be mistreated because it all sounds good, testimonies of a lot of the people. But what happened when a lot of us go over there and may be more trained than their people are and get all the good jobs? They say, oh, these old African Americans, they coming over here getting all the jobs. And that makes people angry. See, we have to consider things like that. And another thing, when they needed help, expertise, they looked. You have many African Americans who are trained in farming, in mining. When they needed experts in certain areas and their people couldn't do it, they never contacted to see if any of our people could come over there and help them. They looked to Europe, China, Russia, especially Europe, the same people who really had them in semi-colonialism. Still taking the money, they just wasn't there physically. Now they're waking up and beginning to kick those people out. Many of those nations has kicked France completely out. Told the United States, no, we don't need any more of your aid. Because they was using that aid to keep those people in poverty. Take out their riches and then send them a little food or something. When they could just keep their riches and have money to buy what they want to buy. But getting back to the United States. In that march, there was Saturday that I did. I posted it. I don't know if you looked at it or not, but we have I was kind of proud of the black folks. There was a few out there. One thing they did at the very beginning of the line, they made sure they put a black woman there, which I don't think she should have done. At the very beginning of the line, the people that were on Bullhorn was the few black people who was out there. Don't let them use you like that. And you say, well, you're bitter that they didn't help you in the civil rights movement. Yeah, we can be better if we want to be better. But if they had shown some compassion towards us, maybe we would, because immigration is not our thing, though. Do you think if they had started shipping us back, the Latinos would have been there for us? They wouldn't have been there for us. Look at many of the policemen who have shot and killed or harmed black people. Look at their surnames. Zimmerman. I think that's like from the Ukraine. And Zimmerman, no, that may have been German or from the Ukraine area. Chauvin. Perez. Those sound like immigrant names to me. And you want our help? We're not in a position to help someone. We're trying to help ourselves. We're trying to make a living. We got a lot of things in our community to take care of. And we just don't have time to help you. We got too much to do ourselves, for our people, for ourselves. Because we have to get ready because they may come after us. Not in the way that they're coming after you, but they may come after us. Because see, we still haven't forgotten that you helped put this regime in office. When we were telling you, you had dances, singing songs, doing that, what's that, the La Bamba, where you doing, just dancing all over the place about Trump. Some of the people who was in those dances are already deported. And you singing that song. But see, there's a song that black people have. It's from a long time ago. It's called Ice. It's called Ice, Ice, Baby. But when we hear ice, we dance and sing it. When you hear ice, you know to take off. A lot of people say, "Oh, you making fun of Latinos." Yeah, they don't have no problem making fun of us. They declared war on black people in Los Angeles. Did you all know that? It was right after I moved back here. You know, I still got some stakes in Los Angeles. So, but the leader of MS-13 gang was in prison. He said he want black people moved out of all of the Chicano areas, which they were black areas. Compton is no longer black. Watts, all that area, that's no longer black. Black people move out to places like Hawthorne, Torrance, Inglewood, really better areas. There was war between the Mexicans and blacks. That's the reason you don't have Bloods and Crips no more. They had to fight the Mexicans. They had to stop fighting each other and fight the Mexicans. But see what they do. When they did come after black people, they wouldn't come after the young black people because they knew what would happen. They'll find an old man sitting at the bus stop, shoot him in the head. You can look it up. You can look it up. Anything I say, you can look it up. That's what they would do. They were cowards. And you young black people right now, you need to stop all this killing and fighting each other. We may need you all. I'm just saying, we may need you sooner or later. Because we can't depend on the government to help us anymore. The courts used to help us, but we can't depend on that anymore. All that is controlled by this regime. They'll give him orders, but if he decides not to obey them, what can they do? There's nothing that they can do. And they don't do anything. He is running this nation. He got Israel to fight a proxy war for him against Iran. Because to stop them from building nuclear weapons. It's been reported that Israel has nuclear weapons. They won't say. I believe they do, but who do these folks think they are? You can tell other people what to have. I got a big old arsenal at my house. Now, I'm not saying I got this, but this is just an example. I got machine guns, bazookas. I got everything in my house. And then over at your house, you go buy you a pistol, and I'm going to attack you. Say you don't have no right to have that pistol. Obama had gotten a nuclear deal with Iran. I'm on this now. What's on my mind? He had gotten a nuclear deal with Iran. Trump came in his first term. And got rid of it. And that's why they're where they're at now. They said, well, Obama gave them $150 billion in cash, took it over their own crates. Know whose money that was? Iran's. See, when the Shah was there, Iran was the United States. Iran was the United States partner at that time. But then the Shah was overthrown. But that's when they took those hostages. But what happened was Iran had a $50 billion not nuclear, what am I saying? They had a $150 billion weapons deal with the United States. But after the Shah was overthrown, the United States never delivered those weapons, and I think it was Reagan's government said that the only way they'll get the $150 billion back is if they reach a nuclear deal, a nuclear treaty with the United States. Well, they reached one with Obama. And so that's why they were giving their money back because they didn't have any the diplomatic ties and a central bank to send it to. Like if the United States wanted to send some money to China, when it sent to Europe, they could send it to a central bank, send it to their banks. They couldn't do that with Iran, so that's why they had to send cash to them. And Trump knew this, but he just didn't want to say it. And they were saying he gave Iran $150 billion. No, he gave them their money back. That's how that happened. So they have Israel attacking Iran, and but look, and the United States is helping shoot down the drones. So technically, the United States is at war with Iran. So what happened? The United States has top of the lines F-35 jet fighters, the best. Iran has shot down two of them. Now, how in the world Israel sent 200 planes into Iran and none of them get shot down? And they weren't as good at the plane. I think theirs was the F-18s. These were F-35, the best. None of theirs got shot down, and they're still flying planes over Iran, and none of them got shot down. Could be this government just want to lead us to an all-out war against Iran. And Russia, their little weak self, and China, I thought Iran's supposed to be your boy. I'm not saying to go to war against the United States. I live for it. I don't want to see this country defeated. As long as I live, me and 50 million more of us live here, I don't want to see anything bad happen to the country. If we leave, I wouldn't care. But it's 50 million reasons why I don't want to see anything bad happen to this nation, and I'm one of them. So I think Trump went an all-out war with Iran, and it's either that or this. And I said I think, because when I say I think, I mean I can have you go look it up, but I can show you where the fact is pointing to it. And that's where I frame my thought from. But look, because why would they shoot down two of our most advanced fighters, and Israel has all those planes over there that's not as good. I think no one has the F-35 but the United States. Yet none of theirs get shot down. Israel can go and attack whoever they want to. And I heard this woman on another podcast say Iran don't have a right to defend themselves. Who the hell don't have a right to defend themselves? If I did something wrong to you and you come attacking me, I still got a right to defend myself. I'm not just gonna stand there and let you beat me to a pub and say, oh yeah, I was wrong, so you just go ahead, beat me to death because I was wrong. Now I'm gonna defend myself. I don't care how wrong I was. And that's what anyone should do. So it has been nothing but chaos since this man has been back in office, just as it was last time. You know what I'm beginning to believe? A lot of people like the chaos. A lot of people just seem to like chaos. Now, sometimes people get with a chaotic man or chaotic woman. They like the chaos and only complain about it when it start causing problems in their life. But they liked the chaos. And I think that's the same way here with many people in this nation, even the people who are not MAGA. See, Joe Biden was boring. You didn't see him on the news leading off with something about him every night. When the news come on, you know what it's going to come off to. But may not now because the major news networks are afraid of Trump. There was 10,000 people, the biggest rally I ever seen in St. Louis City Saturday, but none of the major networks was out there, or the city networks. So you know what I'm talking about, 4, 5, 2 out of none of them was out there. I was the only one out there with professional equipment. A lot of people was coming to me. So I thought you were CNN. I was the star of the show. I'm not complaining though, but see, they're afraid of him, and they weren't out there. So we gotta like I said before, we gotta think wise. I was glad we weren't out there. We're gonna have a few. It's gonna always be a few. Because I told you on the other telecast, I had to take it down when I did the other night. Said I had to take it down because of the algorithm. I got on the Jews so much, and I don't want to ruin everything over one telecast. You have to be wise about it. Now I did kind of go off a little bit too much. Now I did put a little too much into it, but so getting back to what I was saying, They're afraid of Trump, and they're not coming out, and they're not covering anything that's bad about Trump. A lot of the footage you see about the different rallies, they're getting that from off social media. They're not getting it from the networks. Because this is a cult like thing. One man can come in and just destabilize this entire government. There's nothing that you can do about it. I forgot to cut this off. I'm going to start taking call ins one day. I used to when I was doing the cable channel because I could do live call ins on this network. I got like a 25-second delay. And if a person called in, you have to cut whatever media you're looking at. You have to cut that down and cut off and don't look at it because you're going to be behind, about 25 seconds behind me. You'd have to talk directly into your phone and then you can cut it back on when you get off. Because you're not going to be able to sit and listen to yourself because you're going to be getting the feedback from 25 seconds ago. But I'm going to start that maybe in the next few weeks, and I have a Roku channel coming, and I may start going live on that because and that would be live, and there won't be a delay. And I'm getting it set up now, so I have it. It'll be about maybe the early part of next month or last part of this month because I'm setting all this up because mainstream television, a lot of people are just not watching it anymore, and I want to get in on this market. Right now, I'm broadcasting on. I still have a cable channel, but I don't use it much. WSL 984, and it's just local because people don't really watch cable anymore. And then I have the YouTube channel, City of Champions Television. Well, now it's City of Champions Media on YouTube, which I'm broadcasting on now. And right now on Facebook, I'm broadcasting on ESL 89 Blocks Media. I have a excuse me, I have a WSL. I do have a I'm sorry, City of Champions television page on Facebook, and I also have a No More Water Fire Next Time uh, um, page on Facebook, but this one has more members in it. So right now, I have to broadcast on the one that has more members in it. But I would rather broadcast on the No More Water Fire Next Time um, page, but I don't have as many members on that yet. So I have to go with what works for right now. But you can watch on either one of those, and because I like to present this as much as I can, start getting some of my guests back in. I used to do this program. I had building my audience back up. I had stopped for a while. I did it during COVID, and I used to bring in guests because I have an area for guests, my big area over there. Sometimes I told you before I broadcast from my office desk. And I got a fireplace area back there behind me. I can just sit down there, and this is a big area. This is my office. Not counting the rest of the area I got in the back, but this is a big area. And if necessary, I can even make room for a studio audience, which I like to start doing sometime. Have a live studio audience because I do have the chairs for it. And you know, 'cause like I said, we have to. Mainstream media is leaving us. People don't trust it or watch it anymore because it's just about under government control now. All the protests that's going on, they're not even. They may mention something about it, but they're not actually covering them because, like I said, they're afraid of the regime. You know, they're trying to stay in business. See, ABC made a mistake by caving in to Trump because when they did that, now all the other networks is afraid. Do y'all mind if I switch subjects? I haven't talked about this yet, and I know it's all over the news because I usually don't get off much into celebrities. But Diddy, isn't that wild? They're talking about now he may have a mistrial. But look, excuse me. I know a lot of the black men are talking about free Diddy. Let him go. Look, that man has to go to trial and face the music just like everyone else. This year talking about what he did to the woman in the hotel. He's not on trial for that. He's on trial for sex trafficking and many other things. And I don't want to see a sex. If he's a sex trafficker, and it's true, I don't want to see any sex trafficker, no matter who they are or what their race is. I don't want to see them get off. I want to see them in prison. If Diddy was a sex trafficker, he needs to go to prison. And tell me this: who allow their? How can someone's 14-year-old daughter? Then and R. Kelly with him also. How can your 13, 14-year-old daughter spend the night or hours at a man's house and he have sex with her and you not know where she's at? But then it was said at R. Kelly's house many times the parents would come pick up their daughter and would be given an envelope with money in it. So that was sex trafficking also, and the parents need to be held accountable because I'll tell you why. Most girls that age who are molested, most children, no matter what their gender, who are molested, it's by a family member or close friends. You know why? Other people don't have that kind of access to your children. To most people's children now. I'm not talking about some out of the way incidents. I'm talking a normal situation. Most people don't have that kind of access to other people's children. I used to be with R.J. Krause. We would take children around. After he died, I continued taking them. And but I would take the children off somewhere, and I would drop them off in the van. I wasn't alone with those people because if it was a boy or girl left in the van, I'm driving, they're in the back. They may be with me, 3, 4, 5 minutes at the most. I'm driving, I drop them off home. That's it. So how is somebody alone you with a man, 13, 14-year-old girl, even 16, and the parents don't know? That's odd to me. It's odd. From a decent household now. I'm not talking about some loose household, the parents on drugs, or they let the children run loose. I'm talking about from a decent household. Because a lot of times when we think of things, we think of the worst. I'm talking about a decent household. Because something, that's to put my point, something has to be off for someone's young daughter to be able to go to some grown man's house, have sex with him, sometimes be there all night. Excuse me. Now, I just can't see that happening from a decent household and the parent not know. Let me take a quick break for about 2 minutes and I'll be right back.
What's good, everybody? My name is Brandon Hunter, also known as OG Brando, and I am the founder formulator for the Origin of Greatness. In front of me, I have my products, the OG Hair Sheen, which is all-around great moisturizer, and then I have my hemp seed butter, which is all-around great moisturizer for the skin as well. If you have any questions about either of my products, please, you can find me at the Origin of Greatness on Instagram, the OG LLC on Facebook, and at our website at theog.net. And also be on the lookout for the OG in collab in connection with Tierra Speaks. You might just catch us, with some, we got a little collab going on. She got her thing with her self-care box, and so we got some things coming. But greatness is definitely on the way, onward and upward.
Okay, I'm back. As I was saying, who who allows a young girl to go spend that much time with the grown man. With anyone, really. Usually, young kids like that, their parents know where they're at. They usually know where they're at. I know you're not gonna know it every minute, but for all of that to be going on, it's just odd to me. But many people will do that with their children. Hold on 1 second. Grab some real quick. That's the way it is now with us little people. We we don't have that. We don't have a $1 billion station and have all those different people around us to help us out. They can hand it to me, if it was on a network with a big crew, they just hand it to me, and I'd be okay. I have to go get it myself. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, but we have to watch out for our children more. Know where they're at. You gotta know where these young children are at. And just don't go take their word for it. My parents knew where we were at. I got 13, 14 years old. They knew where I was at, and I had a certain time I had to be home. And I know a friend I used to have to go over to their house. And even his mother and everybody knew that no matter what I was doing at a certain time, I took off. And I was on my way home. Because my parents would be home at a certain time, and I respected my parents, and I was home before that time. If they say be home by 9, I didn't take off at 9 to go home. I didn't walk in the door at 9. I was home before 9. They say be home 5 after 9, or when the clock strikes 9, they say be home before 9. And they don't take no beatings to do that. I had respect for my parents. I did what they said. I didn't get whoopings. My brothers and sisters, we didn't get whoopings. We were taught. When you teach children, you don't have to beat them like that. I know I'm on another subject, but we can do that. We can talk. Let's talk. You know, if you have to beat a child, that means they're not learned. They haven't learned anything. And beating them the first time you tell them, I've seen many do that. Some of my people I know who every time their children did something, stop that, hit them. And I noticed when they're children, they're with their brothers and sisters, and one of them did something they didn't like, stop that. Same thing that was happening to them. You beat children and don't teach them, then you wonder why we got all this fighting out here. Because somebody do something I don't like, I have to I have to physically punish them. We have a disagreement, we got to fight. We don't even know how to stop talking and go on about our business. One might, the other keep it going. Because when you start grow children up by bullying them, beating them all the time, that's what they're going to do when they grow up. And it makes them very emotional. People who get beat, it makes them emotional. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever whip children. Some of them need it. But just over any and every little thing, instead of telling them to do something, you're bullying them and threatening them to do it. And if a man is being raised by a woman like that, it makes him a weak man with women. You ever notice how a woman can jump up in a black man's face, call him all kind of names, threaten and whoop his butt, and how mean they can talk to him, and he still be with them? He's used to it. His mother talks to him like that. His sisters maybe talk to him like that. He's used to women disrespecting him. Try that with some of these other men. It's not gonna happen. That's why a lot of white women like black men. They say they're more attentive to women. It's a lot of things you all get away with black men. You're not getting away with other men with that stuff. And what it does is it makes the women hard. See, we got to start teaching our children. Stop beating them all the time. I'm not saying don't whip them because some of them need it. Some of them need it a lot. But don't do it unless it's necessary. The purpose to define you, not because you're teaching them something for the first time and you're going to whip them because they did. And a lot of times, many parents whip their children not because did something defiant or something, just because they did something they didn't like. Don't mean it was wrong or right. They just don't like it. So that's why I say that to get back to about the a lot of times it can be with the way we raise our children. They go off and do things. And here's the man treating them nice, and they're not used to being treated nice. The girls, and so but I'm gonna be honest with you though. With R. Kelly, I think those parents knew what was going on. They just wanted that money. Because you know good and well. Just stop and think. Somebody got a 13-year-old, 14-year-old daughter. She meet R. Kelly. You think she's not gonna go home and tell her people, I met R. Kelly, I talked with R. Kelly, or I talked with met Diddy, I talked with Diddy. They gonna know that she know him. So that's why I say I'm not taking it off of them because if they did those to those children, they're going right where they need to be. And that go for anybody. And you may say, well, they get 16, 17 years old, they old enough, but you got to go by what the law say. And then you got to have your own law also. In the state of Illinois, legal age of consent is not 18, it's 17. So it's also in Missouri. But that don't mean they got to be your legal age. You gonna mess around with an 18-year-old girl just because the law says you can do it? You have to have your own morals and standards also. And that's why a lot of people be saying that even though she's legal, do you have to do it? You know you can't prosecute a person even though he or she is legal. Because nowadays you got to use both genders. But don't you have your own standards? Not the law have to define your standards. You got to have a law to make you not mess around with somebody that young. Are you gonna do it? I don't need a law to tell me not. Even though a girl, 18 years old, man, my age, I'm gonna go with an 18-year-old girl because the law say I can do it. My law don't say I can do it. I don't need laws to make me do right. I got standards and ethics and morals. I can do right with that. You can have laws of society, but when it comes to something like that, when it comes to why these are not kicking enough? When it comes to like these children, even though the law makes something legal, that don't mean you have to do it. Come on, what would I look like with an 18-year-old girl, even though it's legal? Not what I would look like. What would I be? I'm not gonna say that. I'm not worried about what other people would look like. Cause see, if I say what it looked like, that means I may do it behind closed doors with nobody looking. You see what I'm saying? But what would I be? I put it that way. Man my age with an 18-year-old girl, because it's legal. A lot of things are legal. See, I tell you, the reason I'm starting on this about like wrong with this. Man, I need to cut that out. This fan ain't doing it. I tell you why I say that. When it comes to the way people treat you in this society, if the why you need laws and bills passed to make you treat people right. You can only come in my store because the law say you can. I don't really want you here. So if they take back the the laws, they take, like Trump has done, stop the civil rights bill, I can go back to treating you bad because the law say I can. But you better not try it this time because this is not 1965. This is 2025. I advise you don't try that. Don't try no Tulsa right now. Don't try no Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is 2025, not 1925. You'll find it may not go your way. But the law, you need laws to make you treat people right, laws to bring out your humanity, which means you don't have any humanity. If the law has to govern your humanity, it's for you to govern that from within you, from what you learn. And we evolve. But I have to say this though, even though the Civil Rights Act has been taken away, there's still many white people abiding by it. Some acting crazy. Oh, you saw they coming out here acting crazy with us. And so I noticed something. We're not even paying them no attention. They don't like that. They come on there talking crazy, fighting all over our posts. They see white folks fighting, they talk about the fight. Black people fight, they talk about your race. We don't even pay them any attention, don't even respond to them. If my people was running the world and I say I'm in control of everything, if we was doing that, I wouldn't even pay white folks no attention. I wouldn't even worry about their posts. But see, a lot of these fights, y'all need to stop posting that stuff all over the place. I know y'all not doing a lot of it. Some of it is AI generated and it looks real. So they got, well, a lot of it looks real. And a lot of it is not even made in this nation, but some of it is y'all putting that out there. And so we do have an ethnic image to uphold. Right now, our ethnic image is bad. Everyone has an ethnic image. You may say, that's them black folks doing it, not me. Yeah, but you're a part of that ethnic image. And see, when people hate you, they judge you by the worst of you. You can tell when people hate you because they're always looking at the worst of you. And they don't see, they can see Venom Malls here. 100 black people walk by them, mind their own business. They see one do somebody ordinary with some bad behavior, that they're gonna remember that one. Because that's what they want to see. When people hate you, they judge you by the worst. So that is, but some of us is posting that stuff out there. Because for every fight I see out there, I see some good stuff black folks are doing. And most black folks don't even pay that any attention. Aren't you tired of seeing all that fighting? Is there something wrong with you if all you want to do is watch fights all the time? Post fights all the time. There's something wrong with you. We got to clean up ourselves. I'm saying it to say this. We have to kind of cross our T's and dot our I's because they're looking for a reason to come after us. Right now, they can't find one. They tried to trigger us by eliminating everything about us. It didn't work. We chilling, mind our own business. A lot of people say black people don't have time to put boots on the ground. And yes, you do. You can enjoy yourself. We're not gonna sit around here, woe is me, and don't enjoy ourselves. Black people enjoyed themselves during slavery, sing and dance, but that don't mean they were content. But that don't mean they gotta sit there in misery every second. Sometimes you can find yourself some joy in a bad situation. If you know that if you're in a situation you know that's not leaving anytime soon, it's two things you want to do: get out of it, and you're gonna try to find a way to alleviate yourself from all the suffering. That's maybe to have a nice time sometimes. So if you black people, we want to enjoy ourselves, we enjoy ourselves, even though we may not like the situation. Put boots on the ground if you want to. Have your parties. Live your life. We don't have to stop living because of them. We suffered enough because of them. We don't have to keep on suffering because of what other people are doing. Enjoy our lives. And there's something going on here locally in our school district, they want to get rid of the track coach who had won two state championships back to back and came up second runner up this year. One of my best track coaches ever. And they had a hearing. They're supposed to have a hearing a few days ago. They canceled it and changed it. I believe to the 24th. His family is putting stuff on Facebook about how the school is recruiting people and all of that. And I have great respect for this coach. But why you want to talk about call it the Illinois High School Association? Why do you want to blow up everything for everybody else because you're angry? Didn't you know that they were doing that when you and yours was benefiting from it? But now that you're angry, don't call nothing because someone want to help you to help them spite somebody. You know, like I said, we got great respect for that coach. But what some of those people are doing, you want to blow things up for everybody else because you're angry, something that you benefited from. See, we have to stop blowing up stuff. We always talk about, I don't snitch. Yes, you do. Come on, black folks snitch on everything. We tell them, look at the celebrities snitching all on each other. But they have time to make their money. Snitching on each other. We just don't snitch on criminals. That's when we say we don't snitch. But we snitch on everybody else. We tell everything we know. You let them have me down there. I mean, you get 25 years if you don't tell us what happened. I'm telling you, I'm getting out of there if I got to make up some stuff on somebody. And where they going to get you, well, they going to get me 25 years from now. Are they people? Well, I got people too. I just have to look out, take my chances. I'm not going to jail for somebody. I don't even want to go for myself. Why would I go for somebody else? Because the reason I won't be snitching because I'm not doing that. You snitch when you was with somebody, you was a part of that, and then you tell on them. That's gang culture, snitching. Hood stuff. I'm not no hood guy. I'm not no gang guy. What I do, I report a crime. Or I tell you what, something else. Even if I was a part of it, I'm snitching. I'm not going to jail for no 25 years. Because if you don't, they will. And you'll be in there for 25 years. And you'll see them 25 years later. Somebody going to snitch. It may as well be you. Get yourself out of trouble. Self-preservation. First law of nature. You ain't got to take my advice. I'm just saying that's what I do. And y'all do it too. You sit here and lie and talk about what you ain't going to do. Because I know. I got policeman friends. Some work down at the county. They'll tell you, those people, those guys say they don't snitch. They'll snitch in a minute. You ain't even got to hit them upside the head no more. Just tell them, well, you're looking at such and such amount of time. He did this. His mama did this. His daddy did this. I think his dog did something too. You all know y'all tell. You're going to save your own hide. I don't blame you. I'm going to stay out. I do that standing on my head. I'm not going to stand on my head out here. I know I ain't going to tell me I'm going to do that. And I don't want to suffer out here. I'm going to stand on my head and do it in prison. But get off your head because you may fall down and Bubba think you dropped some soap or something. But look, getting back to our subject, I'm telling you, the reason I'm talking about this so much, what's going on. See, normally on I used to talk about a lot of different stuff like around the city and other things, but when you got a situation, it's almost like a war going on, we have to think about our people. That's what I'm looking for out for right now. And the Latinos just have to look out for themselves, like they always did. They never looked out for us. Oh, they cursing us out on social media. You seen some of that stuff? And then we see this. Wait, let me pull it back up. And then we see this spitting on, cursing out black cops, calling them the N word. Now we supposed to help you. I used to say this a lot that I didn't see no hope for us shorter than divine intervention. And it could be now because right now, and the divine intervention can be you doing something, God using you, or using whatever, whoever, whatever He's using. He's not gonna come down here and just slap Donald Trump and all them out the way. He use people, and he'll, that or use somebody else in our behalf. Because I tell you why, a lot of things are going on. I mean, white women are being kicked out of jobs. Things hurting everyone right now except us. They thrown the book at us, counseling everything about us, and it haven't phased us. And I like that. We're carrying on business as usual. I can't say it's gonna always be like that, but let's not give them any ammunition. Because they're looking for that ammunition to come after us. Let's not give it. Let's do just like we're doing now. There's gonna be a few of us go out there and do things. Now if they come in our neighborhood, someone try to attack us, that's a different story. Now, we just gonna have to take our chances. We're not. Let's not let no one physically attack us. Cause see, ICE don't have no business coming in our neighborhoods because we're not immigrants, and we don't, and we never allow. And you know what? They thought they was doing something smart to immigrants. Remember when they brought them from Ukraine and brought them from other areas, and said, and every time an immigrant came into the nation, we don't want to go in the black areas. But see, now that's working out for us. So the ICE don't have any reason to come up in our areas because we don't have any immigrants here. So if you see an unmarked van and some white guys or even black guys with masks on trying to throw you in that van, you better cut loose. Wink, wink, you know what I mean. They're trying to play around with it. You don't have no business up in here throwing somebody in the van. Would you come? Who in East St. Louis you think you need to throw in the van? They don't live here. They're out there in Fairmont City. Go out there. Let me come in here. So they did us a favor by not coming among us. This is a long way. We did our part on November 5th. We told you. And Trump told you what he was going to do. You know one thing I noticed when I talk to Trump people, MAGA people, all of them voted for him, even the ones who regret it now. They voted for him because they thought he was going to do something to someone else. I thought he was going to do this to the Cubans, thought he was going to get the criminals, thought he was going to get the Haitians, thought he was going to get the Mexicans. But they can't touch the Puerto Ricans because they're citizens. Oh, I heard they have. Went after some Puerto Ricans. You know, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. They even vote in the presidential election. I don't know how they vote, but I never did look their vote up. But but we did our part on November 5th, and you partied on November 5th and 6th. Put up videos, you doing Shalamba, whatever that is. Singing a song you made up about Trump and wearing your MAGA stuff. And you just had a good old enchilada time. Now you're having a hot tamale time. We told you. But anything you think we're for, you're against. And I know why they're after you. See, you all used to be the darling. You was the honorary whites. And you still thought you had that status. See, you the new N-words now. For now. But look, because they used to let all of you in here who they wanted to come. Whoever wanted to come. But you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. You helped elect Obama. So that started a new reconstruction. Right after that, they started talking about the browning of the United States. They want to make sure that don't happen again. We're in a new reconstruction right now. They didn't reconstruct it. They all they could about us. It's not too much they can do now, unless we give them a reason. So if we keep on like we're doing, we may be okay. I can't guarantee that, but we may be okay. Because I want to see us prosper right here if we can, or even go somewhere else if we have to. And I know 50 million of us not leaving here, so we're gonna have to make the best we can here for our people or those who want to stay, and try to try not to let's not try to incite them into anything. Let's try to hold on and say and be steadfast in what we're doing right now. Right now, we're not doing anything to cause anyone to come after us. And we're not going to jeopardize ourselves to do anything, to do things for somebody else and give them a reason to come after us. So they're just on their own. Like we've always been on our own. And even the churches, they're chilling right now on this. They're doing a good job of it. They can just concentrate on helping those tornado tornado victim who all the other people making fun of. I see some of you Latinos on Facebook. I see those Latino surnames laughing at black people because of a tornado. They were hit by a tornado, just like they did in Katrina. Every time there's a natural disaster, they hit us, they make fun of us. Now, if you can make fun of us, why come we can't make fun of you? Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. You remember that song? So when them come, just start singing that song for them. They may take off running. But look, we want to make it good for our people. We're in a good position right now, I think. And this is my opinion. Right now, they can't really do anything to touch us. They're hurting more working class white people than they are us. They didn't know those benefits was benefiting them more than us. So they're not hurting us. They're not hurting us. But they think they are. They think that they're hurting us. They're not. But let them keep thinking it. They're trying to provoke us, taking names off buildings. They thought that's going to provoke us. Stopping affirmative action, DEI. Most of us never even heard of DEI until after the election. Taking Thurgood name, Marsh's name off of his ship, so we don't care. Taking Harry Tubman's name down, we don't care. You notice I don't talk about people of color because they've been just as racist towards us as everyone else. I talk about us. And the homosexual, I don't talk about them because I talk about ethnicity, nationalities, and culture, a person's culture, which is part of their ethnicity. I don't talk about people's lifestyle and sexual preferences because that has nothing to do with race or ethnicity. And you all can get angry if you want to, but I don't talk about. That's the reason I don't bring up when I make mine about the different people. That's why I don't bring up homosexuals because that's a sexual preference and their lifestyle that has nothing to do with our race or anyone's nationality or ethnicity. So anyone else want to bring it up, I have no problem with that. But even when my guests come in studio with me, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about ethnicities. We can mention, the immigrants, people of color, black people, white people, and women, because white women are on their own now. And I'm gonna tell you, black women, you all need to stop that separating yourself from black men, talking about black women only. And we may have to go on out on our own. I talk about black people. Even when people come on my show, they would do that. When I had gas, I said, no, we talk about black people here. We don't talk about just black men rights, black women rights. We talk about black people rights here. Now, like I'm gonna get more guests to come on with me, but when you come on here, you're gonna talk about black people because we're not gonna separate ourselves like that, divide and conquer, and we're not gonna let that happen. All the white men have done to white women, they don't separate themselves from him. When they talk about white, when they talk about white men did things to them, when they talk about stuff that men did, they talk about most of the stuff they talk about white men did that. They don't say white men, they say men. Black women don't give them less pay for the job that they do. Black men don't keep them off certain jobs. That's white men doing that. They don't say white men, they say men. When we talk about each other, when it comes to something negative, we gotta make sure we put black in front of it. There are things that men do. When black women say, when it's negative, say black men. Like black men are the only ones who do it. You never hear white women saying white men. They say men. Because they're not going to just try to speak against their men. They'll say it about all men. We can't separate and think we're going to make it. Because we have to come as a people, not as this gender or that gender. That's not going to work. And as I said on the other show that I had to take down, you black men, don't let these black women go up in these Arab shops. Y'all say Arab, but the correct pronunciation is Arab. And quit letting these Arab men mistreat black women. I don't care if she's wrong as two left shoes. I don't care if she cussed them out. You don't be letting those men push and slap and hit on these black women. Because you know why? That's an insult to you too. What makes them feel comfortable enough to come in an all black community around black people and black men standing there and they're going to put their hands on the black woman? Call the police. But don't you let them put their hands on no black woman. I told you before, you say, well, they got guns. You got guns. For us, you got all kind of gun flexing all on social media with. You got them for us, but you don't seem to have them for anyone else. Don't you let? Have you ever been to an Arab store in white areas or in other areas? It's an entirely different creature. Meek, humble. And he's not gonna put his hands on no white woman. I tell you that right now. He's not gonna even cuss her out. He's gonna be courteous and have her to leave, or if something happens, he's gonna call the police. Those Arabs in those other areas, they don't try to deal with the situation themselves. And the worst part about it, sometimes they have a black man helping them. And black women, y'all need to try to stop trying to cuss everybody out and jump up in these men's faces everywhere you go. Because some men are not going to take it. Some will, some not. Especially if you try to hit them. I don't take it. I'll tell you why. I don't take it. And you might get your teeth knocked out. And you will. I'm just going to be honest with you. I see black women jump up in a man. She's 5'2", 115 pounds. She'll jump up in a man face the side of an linebacker. You so and so, I'll do this, I'll do that. Ready to box. Knowing she gonna get destroyed, but ready to box. Now if she'll do that to a man that size, what would she try with a man like me? So I have to put it down. She brings some smoke, I have to put it out, put the fire, use the fire to put it out. I don't play and I don't take chances. And I'm not gonna wait for you to hit me. So that's why I say some men you cannot jump up in their face. And I'm one of them. But I'm not gonna stand and watch no Arab do it. So that's disrespecting all of us, or Asian, anyone else in our neighborhood. I'm not gonna let them mess with our women. And if you see me doing it, it's gonna be for a reason. If you come after me, well, I'll be ready for you too. I'm not gonna let no other man come up here and do it. Some things that's for the family, like Umar Johnson say. Like I let black men and black women criticize each other up in here on podcasts, but can nobody else come up in here and do it? I never did like to hear women of other races criticize black women. And when I get my call in, you can call in and talk about if you had a relationship with a black man or a white man had a relationship with a black woman. You can talk about that relationship. But call in here and just talk about black women, now you can't do that. You can't call in here and talk about black men. Only we can do that. I saw a video, and this wasn't no AI. Some black women jumping a black man, trying to pull his pants down, hitting him, then try to go in his about four of them, trying to go in his pocket, take his money. He got tired. It was some men filming it, black men, laughing while they were filming it. He got tired and started beating them to a pulp. They're trying to rob this man now. Do you know those same black men that was laughing, videoing laughing, came and jumped on that man because he beat those women? Then why come you didn't tell those women to stop? I'll go over there to stop them. That's the kind of situation I'm talking about. I ain't gonna go out here and just jump on no woman. But if I have to, and you gotta come up to me, I have something for you. CCW. And see, the thing is, we have to look out for each other, look out for ourselves, because we can, like I said, we may have some allies, but we can't just depend on them. In the end, it's going to take us to save us. See, if you got a fire in your house, I may help you put it out, but not with the passion you're going to have for it. And that's the only reason I don't want to see the United States destroyed, because it's 50 million people. I'm using the number that from the statistics that I have. You may have something different, but I have to use the statistics that I have. That's 50 million people who look like me. And that's the only reason I would want to see this nation succeed. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't, even if I left here, that's the only reason I would want to see succeed. But see, a lot of these African nations, they wised up. They're running the United States, France, all of them out, who built their nations off of them. What kind of deals? I mean, what kind of deals with that you all made with them folks? They just take all your stuff. That was pretty dumb. Even let them take us. I mean, that had to be pretty dumb. You was coming in my country, and it was in some nations it's still going on. Get all my gold, dig it out the ground, put in a ship or a truck and take it off to your country. I don't know how much you got or what you got. You give me a little aid to feed my people, and I think you did something spectacular for me. That's why I didn't tell them, not keep your aid. We're going to keep our stuff. See, you need cobalt for your cell phones, for your weapons and all that. Comes from Africa. Now you got to deal with them. But you got some turncoats over there, like the Ivory Coast. Their president is nothing but a French lackey. Tried to help them kill the president of Burkina Faso, Abram Traore, because he's liberated that country from the French, and then they it's to the place now where they're on the verge of building their own electric car. Africa is becoming of age now. It's an up and coming place, and they have one of the youngest population in the world. And with their resources and that young population, I see a bright future for Africa. I may go and be a part of it. I wanted to move back to LA. It's a completely different city now. I still have something going on out there. I'm gonna have to get rid of that because that's an entirely different LA now. LA was a magnificent city for black people when I was there. I never intended to stay here really. I saw some opportunities and I ended up staying longer than I had planned to. But um, but yeah, I wouldn't. I'm having second thoughts now because there's not a whole lot of black people left. Not in the city, in the area. Yeah, that's just in the city. Black people have just about abandoned the city. They built the rail out there, which wasn't there when I was there. That's why when I look on television, I see all the areas they having the protests, and I know exactly where they're at. Even the ones that was out there in Century City, I know exactly where they're at. And, we don't need any protests here. In East St. Louis, why would we protest for Latinos here, for immigrants here? And see a lot of the cuts they're talking about, like in Medicaid and all. That's not. I doubt if that's going to happen. They're trying, but I doubt if that's going to happen. It has to go through Congress. And most of the people in the rich states. And see, they're angry with California. See, in California, subsidize most of the red states. California is like a nation within a nation. California doesn't cut itself off from the United States and be like I heard it's the fifth most prosperous economy in the world, fifth biggest economy, but now I heard it's now the fourth. And if the United States seceded from the Union, it would cut down the United States economy quite a bit. They're subsidizing the red states are poor. They're really like welfare cases. Most of those violent cities they talk about are in the red states. That's why when you look at, Democrats control the cities, the metropolitan area where most of the people are at. If you look at the red states, the whole state could be red, but the big cities are blue. That's because most white people are Republicans. You have white people who vote with the rest of us, black people and the people of color. And you know how the term people of color wasn't always there? It used to be black or white. But the Latinos have gotten so large, I think they outgrown us because they got families. And you can't grow when you just got baby mamas and daddies and maybe one man having 15, 20 children, women having babies by the same men. You don't grow like that. Because the majority of black men don't even have children. But they'll take these men around, all these black men making babies all around the place. But the overwhelming majority of black men don't even have children. And no, he's not a homosexual and all that. He just don't have any children. Women don't have children. Do that make them homosexual? So we might have to start getting some families. I know a lot of these people are single. The both parents are there. I'm talking about technically. That's technically, but not that's physically, but not technically. Shacked up or booed up with some children. And the Latinos, they have families. That's why they grow so fast. Black people, our population really hasn't grown much since the 60s. Why? It takes families to grow. It takes families. That's why our population hasn't grown much. And see, you have a lot of black men who have taken on the responsibility, maybe this woman got children. Excuse me. He can take care of her children and the ones he's got by her. That's good. Because, what those type usually do, they eventually get married. And there's a lot of people doing that. Because, like the traditional way of getting married, it just escaped us. And most people never go back to what they used to be. No matter how we always talk about, we need to start back doing this and back doing that. Usually you're not going to go back. Why should you? You're supposed to move forward. Now, if people not in our community are not getting married in the traditional sense, so we have to think of something, a way that's going to grow families. We need to start putting some think tanks in our communities. Put some think tanks, well-learned people who are able to think things out and plot strategy for our people. Right now it's like a free fall, whoever feel like what they want to do. See, back during the civil rights movement, that was strategy. You know why? King was successful? He was the only civil rights leader who came through the churches. And our churches have a big impact in our community. Believe it, regardless if you go to church or not. If you believe in God or not, you have to admit, our churches had a big impact on why the civil rights movement was successful. Not the Nation of Islam, because let's be honest, the Nation of Islam never put boots on the ground. They talk good for Mr. Farrakhan, he'll give a nice speech, but when have they ever just put boots on the ground to help? Regardless if you, and get what I'm saying here, I'm not talking about regardless of what you think is right or wrong, because of what you agree with, or maybe they didn't like the way they was approaching. I'm not talking about likes and dislikes. I'm talking about the fact of the matter is that the Nation of Islam has never put any people on the ground to help our people in any situation. Does things have to be perfect for you to help out? Now, like I said, Minister Farrakhan, he'll give a terrific speech, but there was no boots on the ground. The way he's trying to get our people together, we got to think of a strategy. We got to do more than give speeches. They go for Umar Johnson, all of them. We got to do more than keep trying to show our people where we're wrong. That's what Umar Johnson does. A lot of times he wants to show us where black people are doing stuff wrong. We know that. Try to deal with the ones who gonna do something right and get somewhere. That's just the way women think. I always think about the men who's wrong. Go to those who are right. You say you want somebody right. How you gonna get somebody right and you keep looking at who's doing wrong? We don't have to be perfect to get stuff done. No one else is. If we're not doing everything perfect, we don't deserve nothing. If we don't cross every T and dot every I, we deserve everything they did and said about us. No one does it perfect. But we still can't just let let ourselves fall by the wayside, let people do anything they want to us and have nothing because we didn't do everything perfect. I deserve this because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. If everyone got what they deserve, when none of us have anything. We have to make some things. We need to get some of our intellectuals together instead of doing motivational speaking and all of that. You're an intellectual. We need to get together and plot a strategy. We need to plot a strategy. Because I see our people looking good right now in a good position, but we may not be out of the woods yet. They may be planning something else against us. Our biggest weapon so far is that we've ignored them. They're trying to trigger us, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. They're trying to trigger us. Have us get out there throwing bottles. I'm gonna be honest with you. In LA, I really didn't agree with that. They're throwing bottles, damaging police cars, setting cars on fire for what? So they can let you stay in the country? They were calling you violent criminals. You played right into their hands. And if you want to stay here, carry an American flag. You have to look at your cause and what you're trying to do. Excuse me. Look at this. I don't want to be deported. I want to stay in this country. They call me violent criminal, say I'm unpatriotic. But when I protest, I'm gonna burn up a police car, bust out windows, spit on police cars, them the N-word, and carry the Mexican flag, the Guatemalan flag. What you doing carrying that flag? And you trying to get them to let you stay here. Black people are the only people who have flown someone of another nation's flag in this territory. White people do it with the Confederate flag who fought against this nation. We're the only people who have it. We've been some of the most patriotic people. We didn't know it. We didn't do it for that reason. But what have we done against this nation? The nation has done a lot against us, but what have we done against this nation? We've been the moral conscience of this nation as a people. The other people got their civil rights through us. But now you better get your own way to stay here by yourself. We don't have time for that. See, black people as a people, people look at what we do individually. But black people as a people, who do we bother? We help people as a people. We help other people get their rights as a people. Who do we attack as a people? Do we have a system of hate? Do we have a system of a way to try to hurt people? No. Some individuals may do it, and even individual black people do not attack people because of their race or ethnicity. They may be robbing them, or you did something to them, and that's the same stuff they'll do to us. We don't do things to people because of their race, but you do it to us because of our race. We didn't start the race problem, and it's going to take the ones who started to stop it. But people always speak as though we're the ones who has to stop it. It's like you asking the victim to stop the crime. And it's still an ongoing crime that's been presented in different ways. Yeah, but we've done our part. We can't keep fighting for everyone who wasn't there to fight for us on the main issue. Like I said, you can come out there for police brutality and all that, but we was fighting for our existence. Who was there? Who was there then? You came in on the pretty part. Black Lives Matters. Whose streets? Our streets. This is what democracy look like. We didn't have time for that when the dogs was biting our butts. Water cannons being shot on us. And you know what? They had a strategy to the march back in the civil rights era. They were marching to the courthouse to pray, marching to register to vote. But yeah, look how they were treated. So don't holler about peaceful protests. You couldn't have gotten any more peaceful than that. Peaceful protest was it was something coined just for us. Because white folks are not peaceful protesters. Not the other Latinos or anyone else. That's for us. See, January 6th, their protest, it wasn't some looters or somebody came who was in a part of your group and did the protest. Violence was their protest. The Black Lives Matter protest, things started happening, like people getting killed and all that, because it wasn't us out there. Even the people that pulled their gun on the people said, well, we didn't do it because of race, because it was white people we pulled it on. Because most of the protest was white. It was white people who ran up in that police station and burned it down in Minnesota. There were some black people who said they were doing it, but I got to go by the statistics and what the what the experts say. The experts I trust say happened. There was some black people in that minute. There was white folks when they did that. Because there's been black bodies littered all over those steps. And black people tried that. Yeah, we have to, that was praised for us, that peaceful protest. But don't get involved in that. I know it's the one Saturday I was at. It was what they call peaceful. But there was still, it wasn't that many Latinos there because there's not a whole lot of them in this area. But there were some people carrying the Mexican flag. I'm not marching with anyone carrying the Mexican flag or any of those flags. You're on your own there. Because it's contrary to what you say you want. It's contrary to your cause to carry these other flags. When you say you want to stay here and not go back to that nation, but you're flying their flag. I'm going to take a break before I get ready to close out, but I want to make another point before I close out. So stay with me. I'll be back in about a minute. Let me take this down.
What's good, everybody? My name is Brandon Hunter, also known as OG Brando, and I am the founding formulator for the Origin of Greatness. In front of me, I have my products, the OG Hair Sheen, which is all-around great moisturizer, and then I have my hemp seed butter, which is all-around great moisturizer for the skin as well. If you have any questions about either of my products, please, you can find me at the Origin of Greatness on Instagram, the OG LLC on Facebook, and at our website at theog.net. And also be on the lookout for the OG in collab and connection with Tierra Speaks. You might just catch us, with some. We got a little collab going on. She got her thing with her self-care box, and so we got some things coming. But greatness is definitely on the way. Onward and upward.
Okay, I'm back. Um, well, as you know, the main media, they're afraid to just about post anything now. So it's therefore to many people getting their news off the internet now. I'm trying to get in with the news service where I can start getting news coming to me and I can report news. Now we have that soon because I have a Roku station next month, by the end of this month. I'll give you the information on it once it's set up. That way you can watch it on Fire Stick and a whole lot of Roku TV or on your own flat screen. Once you get those, you can watch it on smart TV. You'll be able to watch me on any of those. Because I do plan to have guests come on. And I would like to get the track coach on. Because he's not a part of that mess the folks doing. He's a man of class. He's a man of integrity. He's not. But you can't control everything. What people people post stuff on social media. You can't control everything they post up there because like a lot of people have family that post stuff, and you can't control what they do. But this person, he's a man of integrity, and he's not a part of that. Um, but I like to get him on because I'm not called no Illinois High School Association. Cause people, I don't like when people benefited from something themselves. Then when they get angry, they want to blow the whole thing up. But it was cool as long as you was benefiting from it. And it's not the coach himself; it's some other people. So I'm not calling anyone. I'm not gonna burn it down for all these other kids because you mad. That's kind of childish. I see it's some other people doing that now, but I'm really not for that. You don't call anybody to help somebody, spite somebody. Now I will admit, in the district, they are quick to throw people under the bus when things aren't right. I don't agree with that. You're supposed to call both parties in, try to reach an agreement, not just soon as something happens. I can serve you faithfully. Soon as something happens, you're out. Now you don't do that. You try to reach an agreement with them. Now on let me look on my phone here. My Coach Benny Lewis. Let me look at the information on here. I'm gonna be live streaming Coach Benny Lewis funeral on City of Champions TV on YouTube and also on this channel on that you're looking at now on Facebook. I used to do it on WSN. I'm sorry, I keep saying that cable station on City of Champions on Facebook also, but I'm gonna do it on this one because this one has more people in with it. So I will be doing the services for Coach Benny Lewis, but I'm trying to pull up. They're gonna have some other things for him. I'm trying to go to my text and see. Okay, this I think I got that on. Coach Benny Lewis is Thursday on June 19th. They're gonna have what's this? A balloon release. June 19th at 6:30 p.m. in front of the old Lincoln High School at 1611 Bond Avenue in East St. Louis, Illinois. That's Thursday, June the 19th at 6:30 p.m. in front of the old Lincoln. I'm gonna live stream that if you can't make it. Okay, Friday, June the 20th, 2025, they're gonna have visitation 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at I-9 Temple down on what is that, about 6th and St. Louis Avenue. Yeah, we all know where our temple is at. It's 6 and St. Louis Avenue. That's Friday, June the 20th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then on Saturday, June the 21st, they're going to have the funeral service. First, there'll be viewing from 11 to 12 p.m. Then the funeral services is at 12 p.m. And that's also at Adonai Temple down there on 6th and St. Louis Avenue. Now, I'm going to see about this visitation, if it's going to be like open casket or whatever, because I may not do that one live. The guy just do the balloon release and the funeral service, because I'm the family and I, we're in touch and they requested that I do it. So we'll be there Thursday, June 19th for the balloon release. Then on Saturday for the funeral services, viewing from 11 to 12 p.m. and funeral at 12 p.m. That's at I-9 Temple. But the balloon release is from the old Lincoln on Bond Avenue. I'm keep repeating it in case some people just joined in. Now, on Friday, the visitation from 4 to 8 p.m. I may not be there to do that live, but you can still go down. And that'll be at I-9 Temple. That's for Coach Benny Lewis, the legendary coach of the Lincoln Tigers. And so we want to get him a good send off because he did a lot for this city. He was well known. He was a staple in this city. Man who commanded a lot of respect. I mean, people mention him, remember, with that big cigar. And we appreciate what he done for the city, and we give our condolences to his family, and really to the entire community because he was well loved. So remember those services for Coach Benny Lewis, and may he rest in peace. So I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, and I'll try to come back as soon as I can, maybe tomorrow night if something jump off. I try to do it every other night, but tomorrow night if something jump off. I really want to come on and let you know because I had to delete that other program from Saturday night. Let our people know we're doing a good job. We're doing an excellent job by just holding our peace and not letting them provoke us because they're trying their best and we're keeping our boots on the ground. Yeah, I would see you put your boots on the ground doing the dance and then be on the ground out there with some people who are they're really. What if black people had been out there in LA? I'm gonna say this before I go. What if they had been out there doing what those people are doing? Oh, they'd have grabbed them quick and would have been going after black people. So I urge you to leave that alone, but I can't tell anyone what to do. I can just give my opinion, but it's up to you to use your own convictions to do what you want to do. Well, if they end up with you there end up down in El Salvador too, over in Sudan, you don't need a crying back here. Because Sudan, they didn't open that up to send. They didn't open it up to that. I heard they had sent a few, but they haven't been able to show any. Some of the plane stuck somewhere. They haven't been able to show any. That's in the prison in Sudan. Then Sudan decided not to take them. I think they're in Dubai or something like that. And not Dubai, but Dubai. What's that, Dubai? But that's not for no Latinos. Trying to open it somewhere over in Africa for us. So stay out of that mess. Stay away from people waving these foreign flags and throwing stuff on the ground. Because, see, somebody's not throwing stuff on the ground, but throwing bricks at police cars and busting the windows out, setting them on fire, spitting on policemen. We don't do that. Whenever you know in a protest where black people were spitting on somebody. You know, in our race, we don't like that. You spitting on, ooh, spitting on somebody? No. You better be ready to throw down, you spit on some black folk. We don't spit on people. We don't even have any racial names for people. If you notice black people as a people, we see back in the 60s, 70s, black people used to say cracker, hungry, like that. You know what that why they would say? To get back at them and all the names they was calling us. They're still at it. We don't even have any more racial names to call people that we made up. That's the kind of people we are. Don't let people make you think we some degenerates or something. We've been the moral nation of the moral conscience of this nation. Would no one be able to celebrate anything but white people if it wasn't for us? You don't read any. I mentioned this before. When I was coming up in our books, we didn't read nothing about. The only black person we read about was Christopher Sachs, the idiot that gave first black person to get her life. He was a black man for this nation's independence when his own people didn't have independence from the people who was trying to get independence. Because I learned they didn't teach us slavery at home. They didn't teach it in the schools. I mentioned this before. I was in high school before I learned about slavery. I knew nothing about slavery till I was high school age. And that's the truth. I was high school age. And that's a shame, isn't it? And you know what? You got a lot of you have a lot of people like you have a lot of people when Ruth came out who was upset, even though they were grown. The problem is they were upset because they didn't know the depths of slavery. And that's why they were so upset. I'm going to be able to get out of here, but remember those services for Coach Benny Lewis. And let's give him a good send off because he did a lot for this city, and we really appreciate what he did. And like I said, condolences to him and to his family and the entire city because many people in this city love Coach Benny Lewis. So with that, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Look, I'm going to try it again. There go my Cash App, my PayPal. Yeah, I don't seem to want to do it, brother, right, but you can send me something if you want to. I'll keep it going though because, like I said, it's not like we broke for money, but this is a different program, and each, as you know, this is City Champions TV is a network. It's not the only program, but each program has to be able to sustain itself. I can't take from this one and give to that one, which is what I'm doing right now. But I can't sustain that though. So hit my Cash App and my PayPal if you could. I didn't leave it up all the way through, but I'm gonna have to start back. So with that, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Okay, and I want to thank you for tuning in. And try to tune in and share these posts if you can. They help my algorithm, especially on YouTube. And it gets more people to watch. Then, I'm going to start bringing in my guests. And it's not going to be no little small guests. I have did another show where we actually brought Dick Gregory in here. Did a show with him about 10 years ago. I was out with Jasmine Crockett. We're back here in October. And Nelly, back on the cable channel, when it was over at the Armory over there, Nelly and the St. Lunatics came over. They came with a CD and a smoke machine. That was their first time on television. We actually put on WZL 984, we actually put Nelly on television for the first time. But we already had old videotapes then, and I don't know what become of it because her alarm was over then. But WZL 984 actually put Nelly on television for the first time. Him and the St. Lunatics. They were unheard of then. So we got a lot of history behind us also. So with that, I'm going to call it a good night, and I want to thank you for tuning in and take this down to No More Water. Bye. Next time, I bid you a good night and see you next time. Be sure to tell your friends and family so they can tune in. Okay? It'll probably be Wednesday night, unless something happened tomorrow that I could pull up and talk about. There's something extraordinary. Okay. I look down a lot because I'm looking at my controls. Okay. But thank you for tuning in, and a good night.